Hallo, hallo. Schönen guten Morgen. Schönen Morgen. How are you today? Schönen Tag, schönen Abend, depending on where you are connecting from. Please, if you're in, let me know. Just put it something in the comments. Hello, hello. Danke. Okay, danke. Danke. Thank you for the feedback. Dankeschön. Okay, so today is about the beginners of German language. So if you know that you're a beginner, or yeah, good morning. Okay, or you're an intermediate who you could need some help with the pronunciation of the German language, then you are at the right place this morning. Oh, she does, yeah. Ify McCoy, Dankeschön. She does organic care. Shout out to you. Frau Elebiju Abosede, yes. Frayodele, you're in. Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Okay. Wie geht es euch? How are you guys doing this morning here, afternoon, wherever you are, or evening? Wie geht es Ihnen? Wie geht es euch? Okay, I think I'll just go straight on. Other people would join us as the time goes on. Okay, so today, one of the reasons decided to do this broadcast, this live broadcast is because of a couple of people who had been coming back to me to say, I get the Wortschatz. Now I'm in Germany. I am trying to fit in something. Somehow I have issues with my accent, or for one reason or the other, I know this, but I can't pronounce it correctly, and I have Germans, I have all the other international people around me. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know. And I decided that I couldn't keep up with responding to one person. Like, okay, so usually I would like to just schedule time with you or something, but honestly, this year I cannot do that. So I decided I was going to do a live broadcast. That way, every other person who needs it can join us. Okay, so we're going to begin straight on with the slide. The slide is Kuchen, Kuchen, Kirsche, Küche, Kochen. I deliberately chose these words because of the way the pun, and the fact that I had someone who finished writing the exams and came and said, I made a mistake. And I'm like, okay, what mistake? I think I was supposed to write on Kuchen. I wrote Küche. And I had written it before I realized that no, Kuchen is cake, Küche is kitchen. So I was told to bring Kuchen, which is cake. But then I wrote Küche, which is kitchen. And I'm like, well, you're going to lift the kitchen to the person, and we laughed. And I realized that these little things, they make a whole difference in your pronunciation, in your reading, and even in your exams. For those people writing exams, hi, Gillian, welcome. Herzlich willkommen. Also, wir gehen weiter. Now, in order to be able to do the how do I call it now? In order to be able to pronounce properly, the first, very, very first thing you're supposed to get right is, as little as it is, it has a huge difference, which is your alphabet. So many people, they have issues with the alphabet, and once they don't get that alphabet clear, once their pronunciation is not right, the problem is every other thing begins to build on that faulty foundation. So one of the first things you have to get right is your alphabet. Hallo, Theresa, herzlich willkommen. It's your alphabet. Okay, the German alphabet, it's quite, I don't want to say it's quite simple, but then I think it is. What I did was to make sure that the gray part here, you would see A, B, you see it's in the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And then the ones with the special characters with umlaut, A umlaut, which is E, O umlaut, which is Ö, U umlaut, which is U, and etc. Now, what I did was to make sure that the gray part would guide you in your pronunciation. Okay, so the gray is not your German, it's just a guide, it's just a way to help you to pronounce. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And then you have that A with the special character that is E, or with the special character O. That comes when you say the O and looks like you press your cheeks in a little O. It gives you the pronunciation better. The same thing with the U. U, U. So it comes out better, and then you have that sign that looks like the Greek beta, which is etset. Basically, it's just an S, or let's say double S. Okay, that helps you. It's etset. As we go in, you get better. Teresa says, I can't hear the video. I can't see the video or hear a sound. I hope the other people can hear me. I hope everyone else can hear me. Please, if you can, let me know. And so that if Teresa has to check it from her end, then she would. Can I just quickly, if you can hear me, please put it in the comment. Okay, we can see and hear you. Dankeschön, Ify McCoy. Okay, so next we have the sound. Now, I selected the sound in general. Okay, let me just back up a little. In general, this is the alphabet. The sound, if you look at how Montessori teaches these days, they teach children with sounds because they realize it helps to read faster. So the same thing with the German language. Yes, there's a way it sounds. A, B, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. You know, it's like that. And that's where we call the Laute. Now, the Aussprache, how it is pronounced, I picked the ones that give people a lot of confusion, and then I selected those ones. Basically, this is the foundation. So when you have the B, it sounds like P when between a vowel and a consonant. So whenever you have that, you have abfahren. Instead of ab, it's not ab, abfahren. Okay, okay. Danke. Danke, she does. Danke, Julian. Okay, so Teresa, please check from your end. So we have the abfahren, abhängig. Okay, something abhängig von, abfahren. When you have that B, it doesn't sound like a B, it sounds like a P. So when you hear native speakers speaking, it sounds like you don't know what you're saying because in your head, you're expecting to hear a B, and then they just abfahren. So you really can't, especially for the feedback I've gotten in the last how many years, which is, the hearing was just the most difficult part of my exams because there's something they're expecting to hear. Okay, there's something they're expecting to hear, which is not how it sounds. Okay, we have the T. It sounds like a T and an S together. So you have like when it is before vowels, E, I, and Ö. It sounds like scent. So it's not scent, it's scent. Second prize. Okay? Se. And then this same C sounds more like the H in the huge. Now, this one, I've always told students that, okay, don't worry, just as long as you can pronounce, because even in Germany, there are dialects. Okay, even in Germany, the way the Austrians sound is a bit slightly different. When you hear an Austrian speak German, you would know. Okay, because it's slightly different. That's one of the reasons in a class I would not lay too much emphasis on people who would say ich instead of ich, because I know as time goes on they would adjust. So this ich, okay, I really, so if you're calling me, anybody please calling me, please, I really can't pick calls. What you could do is to send messages here, comments. Once you send a comment, I'll be able to read it. Gillian says she's having trouble with the comment section, typing the video person. Okay, and then we'll change laptop. Okay, hopefully it works. And I hope it's not the network from here. Okay, so we have the ich, richtig, wirklich, echt, Nachfrage. So C also sounds like K and H when preceded by vowels, like machen, machen, noch, Nacht, Achtung. I can't count how many times I've heard Nacht, and I'm almost like, okay, no, I want to scream, but then I understand that as beginners, there's so many mistakes that people would make and would be corrected over time. So this is one of the opportunities for you to take into consideration this particular words. Okay, it also sounds like K in auch, next. We have the D at the end of the word. Now, this is just like English language. When we have D at the end of the word in English language, we say cooked. We don't say cooked. We say jumped. Okay, so it's the same thing in German language. Okay, we say Mund, Freund. So it's not Freund. It's not Mund. It's Mund, Freund. Okay, we have the G. The G at the end of a word also sounds differently. It sounds like K, like the K. So we say Montag, Tag, Dienstag. It sounds like a K, not G. I remember that I saw a video one time. There was a video that went viral of three friends who were trying to tell us how difficult the German language sounds and how hard it sounds. I think it comes from learners who did not get their who didn't get their phonetic correctly. Because if you do, you'd realize that it's not that hard. Pronunciation is not hard. It's when you don't have the Aussprache that correctly, that's when it sounds hard. Another most thing is the G at the end of the word that sounds like sh. I have seen this over and over again, and then here's 20, and I'm like, no. Okay, it's 20, 20, ich, 30, 40. Okay, ich. It's like you're using the middle of your tongue. You're raising the middle of your tongue to touch your alveolar ridge. Okay, ich. Then we have the J, which is y. Okay, it's like yam in English, yes, and that's where you get ya. Okay, so people who say ja, after today, please don't say it again. Ja, jemand, je, desto. Okay, je früher, desto besser. Je, jemand, ja. Okay, next is the sound. It sounds exactly as it is seen. P and F. Pfeffer. Okay, that's for pepper. Pfeffer. Fund. Okay, I'm having people call in. Please don't call. Okay, there's no way. Please don't call in. Just try to join in from the page. Okay, join from the page. Okay. So let's How do I do this now? Ogechi. Okay, don't worry. At the end of the presentation, just drop your questions, drop anything you want me to pronounce, and then I would do that for you later. Okay, so we have the ku, kva, kva. The K sound, the Q sound, K sound, Q sound sounds like putting the K and the V together. I know this one is almost always unexpected. If you had never learned it, you would not know. Okay, so we say kwaliteit. We say kwaliteit, not qualiteit, or how do I call it now? Qualiteit. Okay, kwaliteit. Okay, so when we say kva, kva, it sounds like you take the K and the V and then you put it together to make kwaliteit. S sounds like it is normally, but then it sounds z, z when the vowel follows it. So we have, that's why you say V heißen Sie. Was sagen Sie? Z. That's when we make it sound hard, like you're saying zoo. Okay, zone, zone. It's because it's followed by a vowel. Now you have the S that follows, that comes before the consonant. Now, if it's the consonant that follows it, it's going to sound like the sure sound. Okay, shh, shh. The same thing for the SCH, shh. So it sounds shh. You say sport, sport, schreiben, stehen. So you have the STEHEN. I'm spelling in English now. Okay, auf Deutsch STEHEN. 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 Even though it is S, I've heard stehen or something. Once a consonant follows that S, it changes. It becomes SH. So you pronounce it like you're saying she, sh, stehen, spülen, schreiben, sport. Okay. Now we have the Esset. I mentioned that when we were doing the alphabets, which is the double S. Okay. It looks like a B, but it's S, S, S. So it looks like you have an elongated S. Heißen. That's why you say wie heißen Sie? Heißen. Weiß. Spaß. Okay. That's just what it sounds like. So when you see it, don't make a mistake and go into English, especially for the English speakers. This is particularly because of Nigerian people that I have taught. Okay. The T and the Z sounds like Arbeitsplatz. Platz. So when you know that Z, it sounds, it's soft. It's not that hard. Okay. Arbeitsplatz. It doesn't sound hard. It sounds soft. Schatz. We have Schatz. Okay. Another is the foul sound. That's the V in English, which is foul. It sounds like F in father. Now this one is very interesting because there's the car, what we typically call in Nigeria Volkswagen. Okay. Teresa, I think you're the only one who can't hear me. Do you want to log in again or check something with your audio? Okay. And okay, so we have Vater, which is father, Vater, Volks, vielen Dank, Volks, vielen Dank. So if you look at it in the light of what we say in Nigeria, when we see that brand of the car, we say Volkswagen. But if you have learned German, you know it's called Volks, not Volks, Volks. Volks. And then we go to the W, which sounds like V. So we say Volkswagen, Volkswagen, okay? Volkswagen. The W sounds like a V in the English van and vase, okay? And I used the W questions as, the examples, or no, okay. Yeah, your V-Frage. So you have wo, warum, was, wann, Winter. All of your W sounds like the V, okay? I know it will take time, especially that W. It takes a little bit of time for especially English speakers and I think Indians, okay, to flow into the pronunciation of this. Okay, okay. Someone is okay. I'll just try not to be distracted. Since it's going to be a live program, since it's going to be a live program, I mean, it's going to be here. You can come back and watch it if you can't hear me now. I know somehow you'd be able, perhaps you'd have fixed whatever it's the problem. Okay, so the Z, that's another really interesting one. Z sounds like you're putting T and S together. You know, it's like the first one I talked about, TZ. Okay, putting T and S together, and it sounds, it's soft. It's actually soft. So that's why I remember the friend called me and said, "Did you see that video? That there's this video going around." I said, "Don't mind them. Don't mind them. It's not that bad." Okay. One of the reasons is if once you don't get the pronunciation correctly, you just assume it's that hard. Z is not Z. It's not hard. It's soft. So you say something like 20, 20, 20, zwei, Prinzip, zeigen. Okay, 20, zwei, Prinzip, zeigen. But what you hear from a lot of people, especially that viral videos, 20. And I'm like, how would you have learned it that way? You know, I guess I knew it was for fun and all of that, but once you learn the pronunciation, it's really not that difficult. Okay, it's really, but it takes time. I agree, it takes time for you to remember, and that's one of the reasons you have to speak out so that your brain recollects it. When it's wrong, there's something, it just clicked wrongly in your brain. Okay, one thing I should mention is borrowed words from other languages generally sounds the same. So sometimes I give students a text to read, and when they get to this point, ich habe einen Job. Okay, a job, they say job because they remember that J sounds like Y. And then I had to correct to say it's job. And the question, okay, so why? But you know, I would tell you that first of all, rules have exceptions, and that's the same in German language. Yes, there will be rules over time as you learn. There will be rules. Okay, do this like this, do this like that. Oh, thank God, Teresa, you fixed it. Good. There'll be rules here and there, but they are not to be held so rigid, like you won't be able to bend. Nine. Okay, du musst flexibel sein. Okay, you have to be flexible. At some times, at some point, it would change. So in this situation, just know that if it's a borrowed word, then it probably sounds exactly as it sounds in that word. So we have cafe, okay, job. Can I think of any other one right now? None is coming to my mind because of what I'm doing. But just remember that once you see the word, if it's a universal word, then it is universal. Okay. Then we have the eh. Okay, that that has two dots on top of it. Those dots are called umlaut. Okay, umlaut, and it sounds like eh. So Äpfel, that's the plural for apple. Okay, apple is Apfel. Singular is Apfel, plural is Äpfel. Okay, man is singular, man, singular, plural is Männer. Universität, Identität. Okay, so we have Äpfel, Männer, Universität, Identität, and then at other times it sounds like like the A in day, for example. So we have spät. Wie spät ist es? What time is it? Okay. Wie spät ist es? Wir sehen uns später. Später. Okay. So we have spät, später. So there are times when it sounds A. Okay. But generally it is A. Then we have the A sound, A, B, D, A. That's E. It also sounds like A. We have elephant, Elektrizität. Erlebnis, Ergebnis. It's air. and it sounds like a, like Leben. Now, I'm deliberately making this because there's something I'm going to explain in the very next one. Leben, okay? Sehen, geben. Now, when it is en at the end of the word, in class generally, I let people pronounce, especially when you're just doing the alphabet or you're just moving in. There are a few things that I let, as teachers generally, we allow people to express themselves, because one of the things I've realized over the years is, as adults, people get conscious. You get conscious. You don't want to make mistakes. So in not wanting to make mistakes and wanting to sound it right from the beginning, you, I don't want to use kill. You slice another part of the cake away, which is the fact that the confidence in expressing yourself would depreciate. Okay, so because of that, we don't make all corrections at the same time sometimes. Okay, so we have this Leben. It's like English language. In English language, you have words like Darlington, Winston. Okay, Winston Churchill. We don't say Darlington. We don't say Winston, right? We say Darlington, Winston. That O gets swallowed in between. The same thing happens to the E before the N at the end of the word, generally, okay? You don't say Leben like that. You say Leben, Zen, geben, and that applies so much to your verbs. The verbs of the German verbs usually end with en, and some just n, but about 90% of the verbs end with en. So you know that when you use this verb, you don't sound the e completely. Okay, we have the e. The I is e, so it is ich bin. Okay, that very few people ever make mistakes where that is concerned. Then we have this one. I'll tell you how I used to say it in class. I'll just say IEE, so that each time you see a word that ends with e, just sound it like English e. Okay, so it sounds like e, z, b, v heißen z, v heißen z. Okay, when it is IE, it sounds e. Then we have the O umlaut, which is the Ö. It sounds like moon. So you have words like schön. Now, schön is another interesting word because it means beautiful. Schön. But then, if you don't pronounce it that way, if for any reason you say, I've heard schön, okay? Where you're supposed to say schön, you say schön, you already say two different things, because schön means beautiful, schön means already. So imagine you're making a sentence and then you want to say schön and then you say schön. It distorts the meaning. So that's one of the reasons it's good to get your Aussprache correctly, because it helps you, even for people writing their exams, it helps them to understand and comprehend what you're saying, even at times when maybe you don't get a lot of wordshots to express vocabulary to express yourself. Okay. Then U, it sounds like new. I put British here because I know that in the Americans call new. Okay, they say new, but new in that sense. So we have über, üben, übung. Okay, ü. It sounds like the UE together, ü. The same thing goes for ypsilon. Ypsilon is the same thing, and the word here is typisch. Typisch. Oh, that is typisch Deutsch. Okay. We have System. I remembered I had to correct B2, someone in B2. I think, was it last week? We're reading a text and then he said system or something, and immediately I remembered that, okay, this is one of the reasons I need to do this training. Okay, System. Now we have the EI, which is I. The IE I said up here and the EI below here are the two words that they mix up. Okay, we have the IE and the EI. EI, I say, is I, which is the English I. So I say EII, IEE, EII, IEE. I ask them to say that over and over again so that it just sticks. When you see EI, you sound it like I. Polizei, mine, dein, sein. Okay? It's important that you remember that many times people mix the I, Polizei, mine, dein, with the IE. And then you have ow, the A and U. Ow. Sounds like the English foul without the L anyway. Okay. Auto. So it's not auto. You hear that a lot, when you're teaching auto. No, it's not auto, it's auto. The same way you remember it is Frau. So remember also that it is auto. Okay. Audi. Audio. And then we have the umlaut or EU, which sounds like oil. The oil in oil and the OY, oil in oil. So we have euro, we have neu, Deutsch, and then you know that it is Europa League. Okay, Europa, euro, neu, oil. When the EU comes, it is EU, oil. Okay. Okay. Then we have the next part. If you followed that well, then let's look at this text together. Okay, we'll look at the text together. So what I did was I picked text, simple text, and then a little bit what a beginner might not quickly understand. And you would realize that when you know how to pronounce, sometimes, or no, scratch that, many times you would sound correctly even when you don't know what you're saying. Okay, you will sound correctly even when you don't know what you're saying. So my Name, EI is I. So mein Name ist Claudia. Ich komme aus Deutschland, Deutschland, aber lebe in Italien. Italien. Ich bin in Südafrika geboren. Ich bin in Südafrika geboren. Ich habe eine Schwester. Remember, W is V. Ich habe eine Schwester und einen Bruder. Sie sind beide verheiratet, verheiratet und haben auch Kinder. Meine Schwester und Nichte leben in Köln. Umlaut, Köln. Die Johann Wolfgang Goethe Universität ist eine der bekanntesten Universitäten in Deutschland. Now that's a bit above someone who just began to learn, but it's still easy. Okay. But then you would have sounded correctly even when you're trying to say, okay, was ist bekanntesten? What does that mean? While you're trying to find out what it is, you have read it correctly. Okay. And the last one is in der Zukunft oder in Zukunft. In der Zukunft oder in Zukunft würde Roboter uns viel mehr unterstützen. Unterstützen. Okay? Stützen. The Z is stützen. Okay? So it's that easy to pronounce when you get the foundation correctly. So I hope that I have been able to take you through all the slides. Yes, I have. Okay. And if you have questions, you can ask now. Fragen. Dankeschön. I remember that I saw Ogechi Obiera says pronounce hospital. Do you mean pronouncing hospital in English or auf Deutsch? So if it's English, it's hospital. If it's in German, it's Krankenhaus. Okay? Krankenhaus. Okay. Okay. Ayoke says Volvunko. Okay, so if Volvo is to be pronounced German, it will be Fulfo. Okay. Yeah, interesting alphabet. Yes, it is interesting, Gillian. It is interesting. Okay, so I've been able to take you under an hour, this 35 minutes, okay, on your pronunciation. If you want more, if you want, perhaps you want the slide, or yeah, I have it. I could get it sent to you, okay, provided it is distributed with good conscience, okay. The next is I want to introduce you to, okay, this part makes me excited actually because it is official. And we are Nigeria's first, very first German language store. Like you go into a bookstore and all you get is German language. Well, we're not proud, okay? But I'm so excited that, you know, we have a German language store. It's supposed to cater to the needs of Nigerians, okay? If you're learning German language, if you are a teacher, if you have friends learning German language, head on to set-projects.com. There you'd find our books, you find materials that would help you. It does not matter if you want to do C2. Okay, we have the Common European Framework for Languages, which is the different levels. We have the A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Those are the different levels. So whether you are A1 or you are C2, there is something for you. Not there is something. There are many things for you. Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's Israel Alabi. Dankeschön. Yeah, thank you. Yes, I think it's amazing too. Okay. Then we have another thing I wanted to introduce to you before we go is, yeah, danke, she does organic skincare. Danke. Okay, now we have this one coming up because a lot of people also have been asking, do you do for children? I want my child to learn. Yes, we have decided to, before now, actually, we're taking one of Nigeria's top schools. Okay, they gave us 4 of their schools to run their clubs, their German language clubs in the school. And, you know, we've been doing that. And it's just a club. Now we've decided, okay, because a lot of people are asking, let's make it public. Okay, so we have registrations open now up until the 25th of March 2022. So if you have children, you know, people who have children who want their children to be either bilingual, multilingual, because in Nigeria, a lot of people are doing French already with English language, and then the local languages. Their children, as long as it's not one person that's speaking all the languages, they can learn as many languages as they hear. So one of the ways children would learn as many languages is just ensure there are different people speaking the languages. So you have French, for example, they have a French teacher, or you speak French in the house, or whichever way it is, just keep speaking to the person. Let that one person keep speaking. If the mind just changes. So when I switch to this person, I just know that I'm speaking German. When I switch to this person, oh, when grandma comes, I know I'm going to be speaking the local dialect. Okay, when uncle this comes, you know, that's how the brain works for the children. They don't get confused. I've heard things like I went to bilingual school where the head teacher was saying that some parents said they don't want to confuse their children. Please, you're not confusing your children, you are empowering them. Teach them early. Don't become adults like this and then say, please, I want this is adult education. It's better when they start early. So you also have the information on the website there, okay, and here on Facebook, and we're also on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. You get information there. Okay, yes, this is the most popular, the exam preparation courses. Oh, okay. This one, when you're in, I put it up to B1 because that's the minimum for those who will be going to write going for education. So if you're going to see you're going to relocate, reunite with your spouse, you have to go to Germany, to Austria, to Switzerland. You have to be able to show that I can understand a little bit of German. I can speak. I can integrate into the society. I'm not going to constitute. It's not because they're just looking for extra thing to stress you. No, it's not about stress. It's because it's not an English speaking country. So you want to, but you want to get to the tram, you want to get water, you want to get vegetables. It's all German. You would speak German language, whether you like it or yes. Okay. So that's one of the reasons they do the exams. That's for the A1 exams. And then the A2 exams are for people who want to go further. One of the wisest things, because I have some people currently doing, there's someone right now doing the B2, even though he had gotten all the exams, we've trained him, he's gone, he has the A1, the B2, the A1, the A2, the B1, and he's proceeding to B2 because of the kind of course he wants to do, which is medicine. Many people just do the A1 and then they move, like when we get there, we do it. And what we've realized over time is it's easier to pass here. Not because they teach you differently or not because the exams, of course, it's a go-to institute that would administer the exams and you know that it's as fair as, it can be and standard as it is. However, the difference is that when you are here, your teachers are Nigerian, so we understand culture. And then we can explain some grammar in English language. What happens usually is when you get switch over, you get to Germany, your teacher is as good, is a native speaker, but the problem is the person cannot speak English. So it's difficult for you you're not getting a particular grammar, you don't know how to explain yourself because the person you want to explain yourself to does not understand your root language. That's usually why it's easier, nothing more. Okay. So we have different exam preparation, of course, from A1 to B2. We have the beginners class also. I couldn't put everything on the slide so I don't crowd the slide. So yes, wir sind am Ende des, should I call it Unterrichts oder des Trainings? Wenn Sie noch Fragen, oh, okay, Teresa says I agree. Oh, yes, I know. It's usually like that. If people don't learn from here up to that level, it's a bit difficult. Not because it is difficult, it's just because you're in an environment right now that you don't have anybody who understands where you're coming from, who understands the roots. So you can't express yourself to ask questions. It's not because it's that difficult, but that's the thing around. Frau Lebiju, danke schön. Ja, das ist gut. Danke auch. Ogechi, danke. Fidelia. Yes, Fidelia is, she was 100th person on the page. She was 100th person who liked the page. She was that number 100. And I said I was going to celebrate, landmark numbers. Thank you very much, Fidelia. Thank you. Danke. Ogechi, danke auch. Yeah. I wish I had my B1 before coming here. Yes, I know. Usually, I think what usually happens is when you try to tell people that, okay, don't stop, keep going on. They sometimes would, they need to quickly do and, reunite with my family and all of that, gets them perhaps too excited or like, I don't know exactly what some people could be, and they would not proceed. I've gotten the requirement, I've gotten the minimum requirement. When I get there, I'll go and learn. When you get there, you will learn. Nobody say you will not learn. But the point is you would need extra effort, so much effort, and you'd need help. Tessie, yes, bitte schön. Okay, bitte schön. So we're at the end of today's training. Thank you for listening. Thank you for logging in. And yes, record time. 45 Minuten, denke ich. Okay, nein. 44, 49. Okay, so thank you very much. And You make it so easy and it sticks. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if you want the slides, please just send a message. Send a message and you would get the slides. Okay, you get the slides to help you. Okay, danke, Anita. Yeah, danke schön. Hopefully, you know, when I have questions and all of this again, I would come back. And was it recorded? Okay, so recorded on Facebook. I think Facebook did the recording. I didn't record. I just wanted to help out. I didn't think about recording, but you would always find it here on Facebook. Yes, you would find it on Facebook. Okay. At this point, I want to say thank you very much and auf Wiederhören. Yay! She does organic skincare. I think she's in Germany. I can't remember what city it is now. Yes, thank you. That sounds really cool hearing from you. It's always very good when you get feedbacks that makes you rejoice. Okay, feedback that makes you rejoice like this. Okay, thank you very much. Ja, bis bald. Danke, Anita. Ja, hoffentlich sprechen wir wieder bald. Okay.